Welcome to 100-Year Jukeboxes, Deep in Our Hearts, Part 2. Before we get to our last choice for our favorite female operetta librettist, here is a brief look at some of the other women whose work enriched Broadway. Catherine Chisholm Cushing, 1874-1952, started as an editor at Harper's Bazaar and had many successful plays on Broadway in the 19-teens, which were later filmed for silent movies such as her adaptation of Eleanor H. Porter's Pollyanna. Catherine is probably best known for these songs: L'amour, toujours l'amour, 1922, music by Rudolph Frimmel, and Love's own sweet song, Sari's Waltz, and the music is by Emmerich Kallman, 1912. Marion Sunshine. Oh, I love that name. Actually, her birth name was Mary James, 1884-1963. But when she and her sister Florence formed a vaudeville act, they became Sunshine and Tempest. Later, she was with the Follies in a bunch of Broadway shows and silent movies. But her biggest claim to fame was as a songwriter. She, using her Cuban husband's background, is said to have introduced Latin rhythms to Broadway. They called her the Rumba Lady. Her songs include The Peanut Vendor.
I'll bet her husband never said, "Sunshine, don't you dare," to her.
And Marion Sunshine has a hit right now, yes, in 2025, with the Hot Sardines version of When I Get Low, I Get High, 1936. Amazing.
Who else did you find?
Clara Kummer, I'm sorry, I don't know which, 1873 and to 1958.
Hey, Katie, have you noticed how many of our ladies were born right around 1873 to 1874? Also, virtually all of them were born in New York or Maryland.
Yep, Clara Kummer was also born in Brooklyn, but her background was literary. She was born a Beecher. Her great-uncle was Henry Ward Beecher, and her great-aunt was
Harriet Beecher Stowe.
Yes, but Claire's talents lay in the entertainment field. Her long life was packed with accomplishments in many fields: Broadway shows, movies, and even some TV shows. Oh, and she wrote a book called Bible Rhymes for the Not Too Young, 1930. I would love to know more about her, about all our ladies. If listeners know more information, please post it in the comments. Well, that's about all I found. Wait, forgot about Fred.
Fred?
Uh-huh. One of the most colorful of the operetta ladies. Frederique de Gresac was born in Lamalou, Les Bains, France, in, anywhere from 1868 to 1879, and died in 1943, saying, "I rather think the public likes its plays written by men." She became Fred de Gresac and proceeded to write over 100 plays and screenplays, including such classics as La Bohème, 1926, The Son of the Sheik, 26, Camille, 26. This was a busy year for Our Lady, and even wrote the screenplay for Eddie and MacDonald's Sweethearts, which she had originally written back in 1913 for Victor Herbert. And now, let's turn to our last American operetta librettist lyricist, Dorothy Donnelly, 1876-1928. And she said, "I have given my life to the theater." Known for shows Blossom Time, Poppy, The Student Prince, and My Maryland, and songs Deep in My Heart, Serenade, and The Drinking Song. Dorothy Agnes Donnelly was born in Brooklyn, in 1876. She was part of a well-established Irish-American theatrical family, like the Drews and Barrymores.
I didn't know they were Irish.
Yeah, I was surprised too. By the way, I was wrong. In 40 Shades of Green, I thought the strong Irish-American presence in entertainment was just in vaudeville, circuses, and kind of low comedy. Ha! Turns out contemporary critics back in the day were always complaining about Irish people taking over the legitimate theater in plays, players, and dramatists. It was ever thus.
Yep. They always say that about any minority group that gets uppity.
Well, Dorothy didn't have to worry about that. Her father managed New York's Grand Opera House, and her mother, a retired tragedian, was known for her kindness and good works. Their strong extended family, based in their Catholic faith, included lawyers, judges, and businessmen. This was to prove invaluable to Dorothy, as they helped ameliorate the laws against 19th century women, especially a single woman.
She wasn't married?
No. But back to our story. Unfortunately, Dorothy was orphaned early on, and she went to live with her maternal uncle and her cousins. They were a very happy family, and all her life, Dorothy remained deeply committed to her nieces, nephews, and later, grandniece.
Well, it's about time we heard about a happy family.
Refreshing, isn't it? She was known as Aunt Dolly, and was the one they always came to with their big and little problems. For a woman who seems never to have had a romantic partner, she was remarkably adept at providing useful solutions. Dorothy was educated at the convent of the Sacred Heart School, where she excelled, especially in literature, French, and German, and in furthering her piano studies. She apparently wrote her first play at age 12, and when she read it to her family, they suggested she'd better contemplate a different career. But Dorothy already had.
Which was?
Dorothy Donnelly was going to be an actress, but she was going to do it on her own terms. She, a very private person, would make her own way, support herself. She would keep all the drama and histrionics on the stage. She would not marry, for
I have given my life to the theater.
Yes, she wrote, I didn't want a job. I didn't want a career. I wanted a profession. And so it was.
Given how few rights women had at that time and how husbands controlled their wives' money, I can understand her decision.
She started in her uncle's repertory company, doing a new play a week.
Whoa! Memorizing a new play every week?
Fortunately, she probably had a photographic memory, and she flew through that schedule and the subsequent road tours. Then, when she was 23, Broadway beckoned, and she became the first woman to play George Bernard Shaw's Candida in English. The play got mixed reviews, but she was highly praised, and Dorothy became lifelong friends with Shaw and his wife.
Her Irish background probably didn't hurt too much either.
However, this achievement was topped by her success as the first English-speaking Madame X. People could not believe the perfect wife from Candida and this burnt-out, ether and alcohol-addicted wreck were the same actress. Dorothy went to Hollywood with Madame X. It and 3 other films she made have been lost. I think that was about 1916. Then she went back.
Katie, hey, this is all fascinating, but where do American operettas come into it?
Sorry. I got a little carried away there. Well, she and Broadway had pretty much aged out of the melodramas Dorothy had played so well. Even touring on the road was getting a little skimpy. Did I mention how she was involved in all kinds of charity projects, including during the Great War, where she set up a sort of proto-USO on the edge of the German force?
Katie!
Well, you see, the knowledge of German came in handy. The Schubert brothers asked her to translate some play, later put her under contract at not insignificant 250 smackers a week, made her a script doctor, and because she was so good at it, thought maybe we would give her another German play that almost everybody thought was hopeless. But someone suggested adding music to it, which was a totally moment because the play was about Franz Schubert. Dorothy wrote the English book, and a first, set English lyrics to melodies of a classic composer. Most critics hated it on both sides of the Atlantic, but boy howdy did audiences love it. It ran and was constantly revived.
That was Blossom time, right?
Yes.
I'll bet she never had to work again.
Oh, yes. She had lots of lovely royalties, but Dorothy was just getting started. She wrote and directed a little play about a carnival con man and his adopted daughter trying one last scheme. It starred W.C. Fields, and it was an enormous hit.
Oh, was that Poppy?
Yep. Which later they made into a couple of movies. Now, all of these things happened right on top of each other. She was often editing one thing while writing lyrics for something else. And then came The Student Prince, December 1924. But we'll look at that seminal achievement a little later. Look for 100-Year Jukebox looks at American operetta. Meanwhile, she had 3 hit shows, running on Broadway at once.
That's enough for a lifetime.
I'm afraid that is almost true. Dorothy had been fighting illness for a long time, but she carried on with My Maryland, September 1927, music by Sigmund Romberg, which was a modest hit. But her health worsened, and on 3 January 1928, she died of kidney disease, complicated by pneumonia. She was not quite 52 years old.
Oh, that's so sad. To have all that success come and to have so little time to enjoy it.
But she did enjoy so much on the way. She gave her life to the theater, and it responded with love, respect, and money. Few creative relationships have worked out better. Thank you, Dorothy Donnelly,
for giving us so much joy.
Well, that's it for this edition of 100-Year Jukebox. But look for our sidebar of The Secret of American Operetta real soon now.
Please please like, subscribe, and let us know your thoughts in the comments below.
Oh, and look for Ellen's next OYJ Musical Imagination Station.
It's called Welcome to the Pity Party.
Catch you on the flip side.